Good morning. Welcome to Kilat Shari Torah's daily review of Maimonides' 613 mitzvahs, Sefer HaMitzvot, for Tuesday, October 5th. We are forbidden, prohibition number 60 in Maimonides' list of 365 prohibitions of the Torah, forbids us to blaspheme the name of the Lord. It's sometimes called euphemistically Birchas Hashem, which means blessing the Lord. So it's a little bit of a code there, a little Hebrew code. You have to know that it's really talking about doing the opposite. Someone who asserts that idolatry is true, even if they don't worship an idol, they revile and blaspheme the honored and revered name of God. The worshiper of idols and the blasphemer are thus basically in the same class. So that carries very stiff consequences, so we definitely want to avoid that among all these other prohibitions. Speaking of things that we accomplish or should not attempt through words, we are forbidden from violating a shvuat bitui, an oath of utterance. We should not, it says, the Torah says in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 12, we should not swear an oath falsely. Do not swear by God's name falsely. So if you are going to take an oath, that's why oftentimes when we're called upon to raise our hand and affirm that some signatures on documents are true and authentic, usually we try to say that we affirm them rather than we swear, because we are trying to avoid even the appearance of swearing an unnecessary oath. We want to avoid using God's name in this incorrect way. Certainly with God's name. Related to that, the next prohibition, number 62, we are forbidden to swear a shvuat shav. A person cannot take, as we just mentioned, cannot take the name of God in vain. So if we swear swear to something that is not true, or something that exists which is impossible, or swear to violate a mitzvah of the Torah. So if God forbid a person were to swear an oath that they won't eat matzah on Pesach, on the first night of Pesach, you're not allowed to do that. It's called a shvuat shav. You have no right, you have no ability. We're limiting our free will here in the ability to take an oath, to swear that we would refrain from something that the Torah expects of us, asks us, offers us. So we should certainly not do that in the name of God. Yet another prohibition along in this string is the prohibition of profaning the name of God, chilul Hashem. So Kiddush Hashem we're aware of in its extreme form. That means to suffer martyrdom rather than to go against the Torah, against principles of Judaism. However, Kiddush Hashem doesn't mean you have to give up your life for something. You could also live your life al Kiddush Hashem. You could be a walking example of an ethical, good, God-focused, other-helping person. And people would say, oh, look at that Jewish person. They're so kind, so good to other people. I know that they spend time learning and davening. That must make the Torah of the Jews and the God of the Jews great. That's what we want to accomplish. The opposite of that is chilul Hashem. When people say, oh, that's a Jew, that's what a Jew does, that's what the Torah teaches the Jews, boy, I don't want any part of it. So that's called chilul Hashem, to profane the name of God, to cause people to think ill of the Jews, of Torah and God. So we are expressly prohibited by negative commandment number 63 in Maimonides' list from doing that. So we'll keep that in mind. We will look forward to tonight and tomorrow and the day after, actually, which are Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. We have a custom to call it Mar Cheshvan, which can mean bitter because there's no holidays in it, like Tishrei was full of holidays. Also, Mar signifies dew, moisture, dampness that does start to fall, already has started to descend upon us here in Toronto. Even before the advent of the month of Cheshvan. So tonight is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, the first of a two-day Rosh Chodesh, as we mentioned on Shabbos and Shul. So we do add Ya'aleh v'yavo to our Ma'ariv service and to our Birkat Hamazon if we're eating after a meal after sunset. Tomorrow morning and Thursday morning alike, we will add Ya'aleh v'yavo in the morning prayers. We will say a full Hallel. There is a Torah reading for those who are davening with a minyan, and Musaf without tefillin both Wednesday and Thursday. Should be a Chodesh Tov, a Guten Chodesh for us, for our Kehillah and everybody in it, and for Gans Klal Yisrael, for the entire Jewish people. Have a good day and a good Chodesh.